So the other things that you guys can learn about a function is, at which intervals is the function increasing, decreasing, or staying constant, and what are relative maximums or what are relative minimums. Okay, so these are kind of like the vocabulary words I want you guys to know right here. I forgot to put constant up here. Constant goes with the increasing and decreasing. It goes for our first question. Our first question says, at which intervals is the function increasing, decreasing, or constant? And so you just have to look at the lines and go from left to right. Always go left to right. And follow the line and tell me what's happening. Okay, so right now this line, obviously, the trend right here is not changing, right? So that's your constant. So it is constant. We would say it's constant on the interval from, how would you say that? Well, how do you say an arrow on a graph? Yeah, it's pointing to negative infinity, and we care about the x-axis, guys. We care about these numbers right here. So on these numbers right here, what's our graph doing? It's staying constant, and it goes to 0. Okay, when you do intervals, you don't do brackets or anything like that. You just do parentheses. Okay, and then what's happening next? Like, at that point, something changes. It starts going where? It starts going down. It's decreasing. Okay, so it's decreasing on this interval. Okay, now the interval just goes from here to the 4. So this is our decreasing interval. Those numbers right there, from 0 to 4. And so you write down that interval. So it would be 0 to 4, and we're using parentheses because we're not including anything here. We're just naming an interval where it's increasing, decreasing. Okay, then we have our last one, increasing. Oops. And that's from this point right here, from 4 on. Okay, you guys see the arrow right here? Arrow means? Infinity. So we're going to say from 4 to infinity. Okay? So when asked for these questions, it's talking about the x numbers. So you look at the x-axis, and you tell me at which x numbers is it increasing, decreasing, or staying constant. Now this one only has one interval for each situation. Sometimes you guys will have graphs that look like kind of wild, like this guy right here. What graph is that? You guys? Yeah, that's cosine. Good job. It's a trig graph. It starts right here at 1, so you guys know that it's cosine. Here, it's what's it doing right here? It's increasing right there. So you would name this interval from here to here. Okay, and that would be your answer for increasing. But it's also increasing from here to here. So that means you would have two different intervals describing where it's increasing. It's also decreasing. Okay, are there any constants on here? No. Okay, there's no constants. All right, but wherever the graph is increasing, going from left to right, those are the intervals that you would name, or decreasing, or being constant. Yes, question? Okay, so that's constants, decreasing, and increasing. Now let's look at this. Relative maximums and minimums. You guys remember maxes and mins from parabolas. When you guys did parabolas, does that one have a max or min? Max. That has a max. The max is right here, and it's just, whatever this is, x, y. It's a point. This would be your max. Okay, now we're adding a word to it, relative. That's because sometimes different graphs have more than one maximum, and they're called relative maximums. Like this one right here has a maximum right there, and it has a maximum right here. Okay, and it's going to have another maximum. All these maximums are relative to its interval that it's affecting. Some graphs are weird, like they go like this, whoa, and then like I don't know, some kind of mountain-looking thing right there. There's two maximums right here. Okay, it's wherever you have an increase then a decrease in the graph. Does that make sense? So right here we have an increase. It's increasing. Oh, it stops. Now it's decreasing. It's decreasing. That makes a maximum point. Does that make sense? Okay. And conversely, there's the minimum. Okay. So for minimum, it would be this guy down here. So we would put a dot right here. That would be your relative minimum. Okay. And there's another minimum right here. What about my red graph? Does it have a minimum? Yes. Yes, it does. It has a minimum right here. Okay, a relative minimum right there. Now this graph up here, does this one have both a minimum and a maximum? No, it doesn't. I almost want to say that this is a maximum point right here, but that's not a maximum point. Why? Because right before it wasn't increasing. It was staying constant. Does that make sense? Okay, it has to be increasing then decreasing to be a relative maximum. And same with your minimum. It has to be decreasing first and then it's increasing. And it's just a point. So a relative maximum and a relative minimum is just a point. So right here, this one would be 4, -4, and this would be a relative min. That would be your answer for that one.